the good life, full of fun.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another huge day. I'm going to tell you what is the most favorite appetizer you could ever think of when you want to order Italian. Think about it. Think about wow, I want to have an appetizer. I'm in an Italian restaurant. What am I going to have? What is the best? What is going to be crunchy, seafood, salty, subtle flavor, phenomenal, little lemon, little extra like Old Italy? What is it going to be? I know what it's going to be. It's going to be calamari, guys. Calamari, the quintessential appetizer of any place. I'm going to make it here. I'm going to make a great recipe. Oh, this is good stuff. So this is my own recipe I put together for you guys. So we want to capture what's great about calamari. So calamari, you want it to be crunchy and light. So I'm not a big fan of a batter dipped, right? We want to bread it, and we want it lightly breaded, and it's going to bring a crisp to it. But what's going to make it really crispy are a few of the ingredients I'm going to share with you. And then you want to dip it in something really phenomenal. So I'm going to share that with you as well, all right? So let's talk about the calamari first. Calamari is basically like a cuttlefish. It's essentially a squid. And the word calamari is like a culinary word to describe this, okay? So it's pretty cool. It's like a mini octopus, right? You got the body. These are cleaned. So it's got the body and the little tentacles. Kind of gross, but cool. Absolutely delicious. All right, so what we've got is we've got 2 pounds of calamari. Now it's cleaned raw and it was frozen. You're not going to typically, unless you're right on the shore of the Mediterranean, going to be able to get calamari, you know, fresh and raw, right? So we've got 2 pounds of calamari. It's already been cleaned. And it's raw. So I thawed it in cool water for like 15-20 minutes, right? And then once it breaks apart, what I did is I took it and I put it basically in about a half a quart of buttermilk. Sounds kind of crazy. Why would I use buttermilk? The key to buttermilk, one is its flavor, right? It's got a tangy little flavor, which is great. And number 2, and real important, it's got lactic acid in it. So lactic acid, you kind of think about it when you go to the gym, right? You guys probably see my pipes here. When I cook, especially when I make a pasta dough. But lactic acid is that burn you get in your muscle when you're working out. So the lactic acid, the beauty with lactic acid when you're using like calamari, for example, is it's going to break down the protein. So a lot of times when you get calamari, it gets kind of gummy or chewy. This will help that. So to be just knock it out of the park, you want 12 hours. If you can't do 12 hours, try to do an hour, hour and a half. That's still something, but so what I did is I took those 2 pounds and I put it in buttermilk and I put 3 eggs in there. Now the eggs are going to add flavor. It's going to help to the adherence of the breading. But what I really love about the egg is that flavor. The yolk just adds just a beautiful flavor to any dish, especially in Italian dishes. Okay, so I've got 3 eggs. I've got a half a quart of buttermilk and 2 pounds of calamari that I put in a bowl, sealed it with saran wrap, left it in the refrigerator, okay? Now I had pre-cut it, so I just wanted to show you guys what that looks like. So I've got my calamari. Ooh, it's all falling apart, okay? So I've got my calamari. So I've got the bed of the calamari, or if you will, the tentacles, right? The body, right? So there's that. And then I've got the body, right, of the squid. So what I did is I took all this after I thawed it, and I cut it up. You want a nice sharp knife, okay? And I carved it up or cut it up in rings. So you always get that little cap. Kind of, isn't that cute? Looks like a little hat there. So I'm going to cut that little top off because I want to have rings. That way the breading and your oil is going to be able to get on the inside as well as the outside, okay? That's why those rings are so traditional with calamari, okay? So let me rinse my hands off real quick. So I've got my 2 pounds of calamari in here, buttermilk, lactic acid doing its magic, 3 eggs, pinch of salt, that's it. That's what I've got in there, okay? So let's go over my ingredients for the breading, because the breading is going to be key, and I want to share with you my little magic, okay? So I've got 2 cups of flour. Now on the flour, I always get, you know, organic, non-GMO. This is pastry flour, so it's ground. I mean, you can use all-purpose, but this is ground. It's non-bleached, unenriched, so it's just beautiful, gorgeous wheat flour, okay? Now I've got 1 cup of cornmeal. Now why do you want to use cornmeal? Cornmeal is going to make it crispy. It's going to give it a crunch that you can't get with regular flour, and it gives it a nice little flavor. Very common in Italy, they use cornmeal solely, and this is a little bit of a finer grind, almost like flour, but not quite. But I wouldn't use the, if you can avoid it, like a polenta grind, because that's almost too coarse, right? And then what I've got here, that's that key. This really gives it a crunch, and this is going to be cornstarch. So we're going to use 1 cup of cornstarch. So we're going to mix a cup of cornstarch, cup of cornmeal, 2 cups of flour. We're going to mix it in a bowl. We're going to add salt. We're going to add pepper. We're going to add some Italian parsley for color and flavor. A lot of times people say like, well, I use parsley for flavor, I'm sorry, for color only, but it has such a beautiful, oh, it has such a beautiful flavor. It's peppery and it's citrus, so it really adds some nice flavor. And I'm gonna hold a little bit of this back just to finish the top off, just to dress it, make it look nice. And lastly, what I've got here is some paprika. I like paprika. It's a different type of pepper. You know, it's not hot, but it gives it that that backdrop of flavor, just a little depth of flavor, which is absolutely delicious. Right now I've got my traditional pepper. We're gonna use a fresh grind. I got some Himalayan pink salt. Why not? We'll get a little crazy today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna wanna fry it. So I've got a pot going behind me, right, with the temp going. We're gonna go about 360 to 375. And I use olive oil. What's really a favorite in Italy is olive oil or peanut oil. You know, if you can avoid canola oil or vegetable oils, one, they're not as healthy for you. They're certainly not heart healthy. And two, they add a flavor that is just non-desirable in my opinion. So if you can use a peanut oil, which gives you no flavor of peanut, it handles the heat really well, or the gold olive oil, not the green stuff, not the extra virgin, the olive oil that's going to be gold. So it doesn't have any particulate of the fruit. It's got a little bit of a higher heat value. It's absolutely delicious, right? Now, I always like to plug my shameless plug here of Vito and Joe's olive oil. So we've got some beautiful new labels. This is oil right from Puglia. It's an Ogliari olive. It's absolutely delicious. So we've got a co-op with a group of farms. We put together an absolutely delicious olive oil for you. You guys can grab that right on our Facebook, right on our website, Cooking and Italian with Joe. If you're looking for a liter or half a liter, something absolutely delicious that you can bring to family, that's the authentic stuff. So we're not frying with that, but you can always finish with that as well. Now we want to finish the calamari. When that comes out of the fryer, what are we going to use, right? One, I'm going to finish it with a little salt, and I'm going to put a little sprinkle of Romano cheese on there. So I've got some tightly grated Romano cheese, and I'm going to hit it just with the top, just a little bit. You know, you don't want to douse it or glob it in cheese, just a little finish. We're going to finish it with salt, like I said, and then for dipping, what do I like? I like to use a marinara sauce, right? So I got some homemade pasta sauce. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise and 1 teaspoon of horseradish. So it gives it a little bit of the forget about it, a little bit of the kick, but not overpowering. It's gonna be absolutely delicious. So to get started, I wanna mix that flour, cornmeal, and cornstarch, salt, pepper, and such. So let me get that stuff ready to go. I'll talk to you guys in a minute. Hey guys, I feel like I got a little magic wand here. I'm gonna hit everything, all right? All right, so I've got black on. Typical Guido, right? So when I put this in, the goal is not to get flour all over me. So I'm gonna put my flour in, I'm gonna put my cornmeal in. Okay, I got a cup of cornmeal, 2 cups of flour. I'm gonna put 1 cup of cornstarch. Cornstarch is great for thickening things, obviously, though I prefer, you know, making a roux in general. And then I'm gonna put my paprika. You know, it gets a little flavor, or a little color, but I really like that flavor that you get with it, okay? Now I'm gonna add some salt, like I told you. Normally I use a gray sea salt. I thought I'd get a little crazy today. So you're gonna use at least a half a teaspoon, if not a full teaspoon of salt, okay? And we're gonna do some fresh ground pepper. So we already got that paprika in there. And then we're gonna use a little bit of the Italian parsley. Again, color, but it gives it a nice little flavor. And I chopped it up pretty fine. So this is pretty easy, right? Now here's the trick and the magic when you're making, let me pop this in, when you're making the calamari, or a lot of times with any type of a smaller fish, and that is this. You want to bread it and put it in your fryer immediately. You do not want to bread it ahead of time and then put it on some rack, because it's so wet. It starts to make your breading moist and everything starts to fall off. It doesn't adhere and it just doesn't work well. It gets clumpy. So in this case, what we're gonna do is we're only gonna bread what we're gonna fry. And I literally will bread it and put it right in the oil the instant I bread it. Okay, so it's gonna bubble. So once you're going, you're going. You're not leaving that spot. The other problem, the biggest challenge I think you'll have, is trying not to eat it all when it comes out of the fryer, because you're going to want to try it regularly as you're doing it. So, all right, so I've got my flour mixture going, right? And then I've got my calamari, and I got my rack. So let's do this. Let's hold up station right over here by the stove. We'll get everything ready to go, and I'll show you how fun and easy this is. Talk to you guys in a minute. All right, guys, here we go. So I've got my cast iron, always better, retains the heat better, easier to manage the heat, high sides, so you don't have to worry about splatter. Anytime you're dealing with hot oil, just be careful, okay? I've got a nice little strainer to pull it out, right? And I've got some tongs for any of those ones that are a little too fresh. Sometimes they don't want to jump in the oil, they want to pop out, okay? And then I've got my cheese and my salt right here by the rack. Why? Because immediately when they come out, that's when you want to hit them with a little cheese and a little salt, because it'll stick to it, all right? It's going to work out great. I've also got my station here, right? I've got the calamari, if you will, the squid, and I've got the flour, and I've got my pot all ready to go, because I'm literally going to flour it and then fry it and then pull it out all in once, okay? So this is fun. It's kind of exciting. Sometimes these things are still kicking, so you got to grab them in there. And I'm just kidding. All right, so here we go. So here's my little piece, right? My little ring. If you guys can see that, right? And what I'm going to do now is I want to just kind of shake it off. I don't want a ton of liquid on there, but I don't want it dry either, right? And I'm going to literally put it right in there, right? Look at that. See, just a dusting, right? It's not coated, if you will. It's a dusting of it, okay? And my temp is a little bit high, but I'm going to pop that right in there. Like I said, on the rings, what I like to do on the rings is get it inside the ring, right? And it'll open right up once you get it in there. Look at those things. Are they nasty? Are those things nasty looking or what? Well, I tell you they're nasty. They taste good. They are good. And again, get most of that liquid off. We got a whole bunch going here now. So again, I'm only going to fry it and put it right in there. That's going to give me crisp. That's going to make it magic. That's going to give you something you're going to go, wow, that is good. Everyone around the table is going to go, man, that is perfect. How'd you do it? And you're going to say, I can't tell you. It's magic. Woo! Mama! Look at that guy. That's perfect. Oh, beautiful. I'll tell you, the smell in here, absolutely delicious. Reminds me of my dad's restaurant. You know, we used to do the Friday night fish fry, which they still do actually, but just awesome. And again, it doesn't take long. These things only take 2 minutes, 3 minutes tops, sometimes just a minute. Oh, those are gorgeous. So I'm going to go ahead and keep cooking these guys. We're going to have a lot of fun here over the next few minutes. I'm going to season them, plate them, get that marinara going, taste them. Favorite part. I'll talk to you guys in a few minutes. All right, guys, we're gonna get started. Look at that magic back there. We're gonna let that cool. I don't want to get cold, but I want to get that sauce going, okay? So I'm gonna take my cup of sauce, right? And just traditional red sauce is fine. And we're not really making an aioli, but it's kind of a spin-off of that, okay? And so there's a mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons, and I've got horseradish we're popping in there, right? And normally I'd mix this up beforehand. And I'll throw a little green parsley in there. Give it a nice little color. Ooh, that smells good. So that's going to be a nice tomato, creamy, almost like a custardy flavor. And then with a little, you know what I'm saying? A little forget about it. How you doing? That is beautiful. Let me just try a little taste of that. Oh, ho, ho. Perfect. This is just going to be great. All right, so I've got this going. Now, to prep it, right, I want to get that lemon. So I want to get a couple of wedges going here, okay? And because you want to hit it with that lemon wedge just to give it that beauty. Nothing goes better than, you know, with seafood than lemon. You know, it just gives it that flavor, right? So what I'm going to do now is I want to fill this bowl up with our calamari. So give me a minute. I'm going to fill this up, be back, we'll prep it, plate it, taste it, talk to you guys in a minute. All right, guys, you ready? So what I did is I took those off the fryer, out of the fryer, right? I put them on a rack, hit them with just a little bit of salt, hit them with some cheese while they're hot, right? And then I plated it, hit it with some parsley, just a little bit more cheese, and then I want to hit it with some lemon, okay? Without squirting this in my eye, right? Oh yeah, look at that. Perfect, right? And I put that sauce in there, marinara with a little horseradish and mayo. Oh boy, this is going to be good. I got to tell you, my favorite part of doing any video, if you haven't figured that out, is tasting it. This is gonna be good. Now I did try one earlier, I will tell you that, but. Oh my God, that is good. I'll tell you, the crunch, the crisp of it, you can just get a hint of the lemon, and you got, you know, it doesn't, the batter would have hidden the flavor of the calamari, you know, the squid. And this doesn't. It's light, it's bright. Oh my God. Just the right amount of salt. But if that doesn't bring you right to the shore, I'll tell you, if I could get to smell on the side of the Mediterranean right there, with the sounds of Tony Bennett going in the background, I don't think I could be happier. I'm close to being that happy, but man, that's good. Hey guys, thanks for letting me share my heritage, my traditions with you guys. Enjoy the recipe. It's simple, it's fun. Certainly something you could set a tradition for. Any of those great days, especially Christmas Eve, 7 fishes. Great way to do it. Until next week, guys, bon appetito.
A good life, full of fun.